Middle thoughts as well, and we can definitely get to know which activities are you excited about the month of October. What do you want to achieve? Remember, we also have the Independence Week coming up next week. Uganda's independence on 9th of October. A lot of things are coming up. We shall be assessing in the Independence Week what has the country achieved in the economic part of it. That and more is what we do here on the Best Land in regards to business stories. Like I normally say, Chokadia. All right, now let's head into our news hour as the government, according to the Speaker Oulanyah Jacob, should invest in marginalized people to reduce the income inequality. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, has actually urged government to invest in the marginalized people to reduce income inequality and the vulnerability. Oulanyah made the remarks while receiving the 8th annual report on the state of the equal opportunities in Uganda for the year 2020 to 2021 at Parliament. More of the details.
The Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, has called on the government to invest in marginalized people so as to reduce the increasing number of vulnerable people countrywide. Oulanyah made the remarks while receiving the 8th annual report of the equal opportunities in Uganda for the year 2020-2021. Parliament under the theme Promoting Equal Opportunities and Equitable Access to Social Services for Inclusive Growth and Sustainable Development. Oulanyah said that it is true the equilibrium towards social protection exists in Uganda, but the government requires to empower the vulnerable groups to make them self-sustaining and reduce the gap between the poor and the rich communities in Uganda. He notes that promoting empowerment of people in achieving poverty eradication, social integration and full employment integration, and employment and decent work for all is the key to achieve social justice to all. He added, when government invests in vulnerability, it will enable them acquire their rights to education, to own property, land, reduce poverty levels, and government will spend less money annually to invest in social media services because they will have become self-dependent. Oulanyah said,
to deliberately invest in those areas that present vulnerability so that the vulnerable groups and communities and persons can take their right places also in the development of the country. Because if you emphasize social protection all the time without investing in the vulnerable, so that your capacities are built and they begin tilting back towards an equilibrium, then you are only spending without earning.
Empowerment is achieved when women and girls and other marginalized groups acquire the power to act freely, exercise their rights, and fulfill their potential.
Well, investing in the vulnerable group, according to the Speaker of Parliament, is reducing on the funds that the government has actually been inputting in regards to social services. Let's say, for instance, if the government invests in the vulnerable group, it will be able for them to actually depend on themselves, and it will actually help them out in regards to finding, actually facilitating their lives so as to actually get themselves assets and also carry on with the investment. So I think, as he has actually stated it, it is better for the economy of Uganda. He actually notes that promoting empowerment of people in achieving poverty eradication, social integration and full employment integration, as well as employment and decent work for all, is the key to achieve social justice in the country. Now, he added that when government invests in the vulnerability, it will enable them acquire their rights to education, own property, and reduce the poverty levels. And the government will spend less money to invest in social services because they will become self-dependent. Now, the biggest issue here is the fact that we have a number of vulnerable groups. Like I did mention, 80%, if I am, in my opinion, 80% of the population is living in a vulnerability state. Why? Because if you are employed currently and you lose your job, then you have lost your source of income, which means you're going to be depending on someone to actually survive. So we are living in a state of survival. So each one of us in the country is actually living in a state whereby you are depending on the little that you're having, and most probably, if you go downtown, most people do not earn more than 5,000 a day. And on the 5,000 they actually earn, most of them have to eat supper on the same money. They have to get back home on the same money. They have to save something on the same money. So if I am to actually have 5,000 on a day, simple calculation. Most people who go downtown to earn something and maybe he gets a 5K a day, he will stroll back home without use of public transport, because it's literally strolling, regardless of the distance. So he will start movement from 6. So by 8 p.m. he's home. He gets himself some food on the street, like 2,000, maybe some simple food at 2,000. He heads back home, maybe saves 2,000 Ugandan shillings in his savers box, keeps 1,000, maybe that is the 1,000 he will start off the day tomorrow. So by him keeping 1,000, it will help him maybe in transportation to beat time in the morning and get there. The 2,000 he's saving is to pay for rent at the end of the month. And one would ask, can 2,000 actually pay that rent if you are to add? It actually depends on the money there is. So it would show you how much of vulnerability our economy has created to the people. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. As the Labour Committee has actually given 10 days to process NSSF bill, as Matia Kasaija promises to support midterm access. Now the Labour Committee has been given an ultimatum of 10 days to process the National Social Security Fund bill, as Kasaija promises to support midterm access. The National Social Security Fund bill was tabled by the Minister of State for the Elderly, Gidudu Mafabi, and after retabling the bill, the Speaker directed the committee to handle the bill expeditiously and only look at the clauses that the President wants Parliament to address, as indicated in his letter when he returned the bill to Parliament. More of this report.
It's my great pleasure to preside over the 9th NSSF annual members meeting.
Speaker of Parliament Jacob Oulanyah has given Parliament his Committee on Gender, Labour, Social Development 10 days to process the NSSF Amendment Bill 2021 and report back to Parliament. In related development, the National Social Security Fund is anxiously waiting the enactment of the NSSF Amendment Bill, which was recently returned to Parliament by President Yoweri Museveni. The NSSF Bill was tabled by the Minister of State for the Elderly, Gidudu Mafabi, and after retabling the bill, the Speaker directed the committee to handle the bill expeditiously and only look at the clauses that the President wants the Parliament to address, as indicated in this letter when he returned the bill. NSSF Managing Director Richard Byarugaba believes that the new law will give the fund management more opportunities to invest and increase the value of the members' savings. Byarugaba says while the public debate is mainly in the midterm access clauses, the fund has a number of interests in the proposed law, which he says will enhance its performance and give new and better products to savers.
We would be very close to the 20 trillion mark, which we set out to do within 10 years. I certainly think that under assets under management, which is one of our big mark to show how successful we've been, we'll definitely hit that target. If you look at the return we promised our members, we have consistently performed beyond the benchmark. Our benchmark is the 10-year average inflation, as I mentioned.
Finance Minister Matia Kasaija also pledged to fast-track the legislation because he says it has many advantages to both the savers and the management, including increasing the number of employers enrolled, innovation in new products, and protection of members' savings. In a bid to expand the base of the membership, the fund has been put in place measures to take on small-scale employers, and this will be strengthened by the proposed law.
The new rate will be calculated and credited to the balances of outstanding in every member's accounts as of 1st July 2020.
All right, now in a bid to expand the base of the membership, the fund has put in place measures to take on small-scale employers, and this will be strengthened by the proposed law. Now, if we are to actually follow up, the Finance Minister, Matia Kasaija, also pledged to fast-track the legislation because he says it has many advantages to both the savers and the management, including increasing the number of employers enrolled, down to the innovations in the new products and protection of members' savings. Just a quick one. According to the NSSF Managing Director, Richard Byarugaba believes that the new law will give the fund management more opportunities to invest and increase the value of members' savings. Byarugaba says while the public debate is mainly on the midterm access clauses, the fund has a number of interests in the proposed law, which he says will enhance its performance and give new and better products to the savers. And you see, most of us are always interested in the midterm, for real, for real. If you would actually identify the situation, let's say, first and foremost, when they tell you you can access 10% of your NSSF savings, for instance, for someone who has been saving since early 2000, man, that is a very good amount. You will definitely say you're ready for the midterm access. So I'm here to understand which better clauses are there, which clause actually has better facilities than the money that comes to the 10% of the savings, according to the NSSF Managing Director, Richard Byarugaba. Meanwhile, let's continue driving your business in that regard as we head to Saudi Arabia's cooperation with Uganda. Now, Saudi Arabia has presented a big market for Uganda's coffee. The Foreign Affairs Minister JJ Odong made the remarks while delivering the keynote address at the opening ceremony of the Uganda-Saudi Arabia Virtual Coffee Expo. More of the details.
General JJ Odongo, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has expressed positivity at the new opportunity for Uganda that Saudi Arabia is offering in the coffee trade. Odongo says that Uganda's exports of coffee and coffee husks to Saudi Arabia was at shillings 1.5 billion during the year 2020. This situation needs to improve as Saudi Arabia is the fastest growing coffee market in the Middle East. The market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 6.2% during 2021 to 2027. This is an opportunity for businessmen and women from both countries. The minister said this while delivering the keynote address at the opening ceremony of the Uganda-Saudi Arabia Virtual Coffee Expo. The theme of the expo was the Uganda coffee industry perspective, farming, processing and export. This is the first in a series of Uganda-Saudi Arabia trade, tourism and investment forums which will be organized annually. He expressed hope for the positive outcomes of the forum. He promised that the government will address any issues that may arise from the expo. He remarked that the theme gives Uganda the opportunity to rethink about possibilities of attracting investment in the Uganda coffee industry, mindful of Uganda's great investment.
General JJ Odong, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has expressed positivity at the new opportunity for Uganda and that in Saudi Arabia, offering in the coffee trade. Now, Odongo says that Uganda's exports of coffee and coffee husks to Saudi Arabia was at 1.5 billion during the year 2020. This situation needs to improve as Saudi Arabia is the fastest growing coffee market in the Middle East. The market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 6.2% during 2021 to 2027. And this is an opportunity for businesses and women from both countries. And the minister said this while delivering the keynote address at the opening ceremony of the Uganda-Saudi Arabia Virtual Coffee Expo. The theme of the expo was the Uganda Expo Industry Perspective, Farming, Processing and Export. This is the first in series of Uganda-Saudi Arabia trade, tourism and investment forums which will be organized annually. He expressed hope for the positive outcomes of the forum as he promised that the government will address any issues that may arise from the expo. He remarked that the theme gives Uganda the opportunity to rethink about possibilities of attracting investment in the Ugandan coffee industry, mindful of Uganda's great investment environment. All right, now let's check out more in regards to the business stories as well. Now let's head to the other story as government is set to compensate Acholi war claimants 1 million shillings for each animals. This follows a protracted consultation meeting between the claimants, Acholi leaders and officials from the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs led by the Attorney General, aiming at harmonizing the war claims. More of the story.
Directly responsible for paying the money to the recipients.
Acholi Wodate's claimants will be compensated 1 million, up from 600,000 shillings for each head of a cattle lost in a revised rate pronounced by the Deputy Attorney General, Jackson Kafuzi, on Wednesday. Government has so far verified a total of 16,946 claimants in Acholi. Of the number, Gulu, combined with Omoro district, tops the list with 4,927 claimants, followed by Agago 3,393, Moye 1,995, Chitugum 1,983, Amaru 1,440, and Lamuo 1,408. The development comes after the Attorney General's office released during insurgencies in Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-regions, with each to receive 50 billion shillings for the next 3 years. With payments expected to be effected beginning October, Kafuzi told claimants that government considered to pay uniformly a sum of 1 million shillings for each cow to each of the claimants in Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-regions. The region's members of parliament, led by Anthony Akol, the Kilak North MP under the Acholi Parliamentary Association, APG, also demanded that the ministry suspends issuance of tax identification numbers and use of data to validate claimants who are causing unnecessary anxieties.
The region's members of parliament, led by Anthony Akol, the Kilkak North MP, under the Acholi Parliamentary Association, APJ, also demanded that the ministry suspends issuance of tax identification numbers and the use of data cards to validate claimants who are causing unnecessary anxieties. And with payments expected to be effected beginning October, we are in October. And Kafuzi told claimants that government considered to pay uniformly a sum of 1 million shillings for each cow to each of the claimants in Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-regions. Now, the development comes after the government, through the Attorney General's office, released 150 billion Ugandan shillings to compensate the claimants who lost their livestock during the insurgencies in Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-regions. This means 15 billion shillings will be going to Acholi, 50 billion to Lango, and 50 billion to Teso sub-region, as a way of actually saying that they compensate the claimants who had insurgencies in terms of the lost livestock. And that will actually receive 50 billion shillings for the next 3 years, from 2021 down to 2024. Continuing in terms of driving your business, let's head to the next story. As police have summoned former Minister Mbayo over missing UPPC funds. Now, the Minister for Presidency, Millie Babire Babalanda, recently ordered a probe into allegations of corruptions at the Uganda Printing and Publishing Company, UPPC. The Criminal Investigation Directorate of the Police has summoned former Minister for Presidency over alleged embezzlement of funds meant for the Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation. Now, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations is investigating allegations of abuse of office, embezzlement, and causing financial loss of Uganda Printing and Publication Corporation, where she was the supervisor of the said corporation. And that is a letter dated 13th 2021 that was actually addressed to the former Minister of President, that is former Minister Mbayo. Now, if we are to actually follow up on the same situation, consequently, the minister suspended the UPPC Managing Director, Dr. Tom Waswa, and the board of the organization over the similar mess. And she also put on hold any further transactions at UPPC, especially those related to procurement projects. Nothing that, in case of anything, she has to authorize the same situation. And if you could definitely see, as we continue driving your business, there are a lot of issues in regards to corruption, bribery. But just a quick reminder, the Dubai Expo kicked off in the United Arab Emirates. It's actually a 6-month slated expo that will see different countries, over 190 countries that are definitely going to benefit from the expo. What does this mean? Every day, of the 189 days, of the 190 days to be specific, would be of opportunity for each country to showcase their trade, to showcase their products. It's just like a platform, just like Smart24 gives you a platform. I mean, we give you a platform to come and advertise with us. In fact, what are you waiting for? Port 29A Commercial Road, Nakuru is where we're situated. Bring your businesses. Let us drive them for you as well. Bring your services. We can definitely drive them to the comfort of your customers from wherever they are, from across the regions. Remember, we are also streaming on YouTube. So, I mean, what are you waiting for? And meanwhile, if we are to talk about the Dubai Expo, is actually targeting different markets across the world. And if we are to look at the markets, 3rd October will be a Sunday, is when Uganda will be definitely showcasing there. It will actually be known as the Uganda National Day. Now, the Uganda National Day means, away from the 9th of October coming up, the other week of independence, the Uganda National Day will definitely mean, with the Dubai Expo, that Uganda will have the chance to showcase, let me say, caps made in Uganda, phones made in Uganda, phone covers made in Uganda, sweaters made in Uganda, and let me say, shoes made in Uganda, putting on board, let's say, promoting our tourism in the same area. So every other national that will be featuring in the expo will actually see the beauty that Uganda has, the trade that Uganda can actually provide. So you can see. So it is actually a chance for the local markets to actually promote their businesses. That is why even when we are preparing for this, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni came out and said, the Ministry of Trade should actually use this platform together with the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Finance to see that we use the expo to promote trade of Uganda, to promote the trade in Uganda. I mean, if we have such platforms, you can really promote you can definitely promote anything, Bandia. You see, if you're making, in Katwe there, people are making saucepans, people make popcorn machines, people are making TV sets. If we have such platforms and we have representatives that are going to represent the country, forget this jibby-jabber of only the corporate class. I mean, even the low-income earner or the average Ugandans or Montuwa Wansi has an opportunity to showcase something at the Dubai Expo. And up over there, we have the sheikhs, the money dons, the money bags, or the oil cash is being splashed in Dubai. It can be an absolute chance for your products to actually be showcased on the world market. Over 189 countries are going to take part in this expo. Man, that is an opportunity for each one of us. An opportunity for the economy of Uganda to rejuvenate. An opportunity for our economy to go back to pre-pandemic levels. We just need to use the platform to see that we can definitely tap into that. Just a quick recap, a quick breather of this particular expo. Before October, Uganda was actually in the moods of the Dubai Expo. Reason being, we're excited. You know, when it comes to that, leave alone the fact that you're going to Dubai. I mean, Dubai is a beautiful country, tourism, but the fact that we are going to be exporting something, we're going to be showcasing something. It is a platform where you showcase what you can produce. The platform where the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy can be laid onto the world scene, onto the international market, so that each one of the traders worldwide can understand the beauty and the innovative minds that the Ugandans are actually having. And Ugandans have actually been in the modes of the Dubai Expo that kick-started off on the 1st of October 2021 and is set to end 30th March 2022. I mean, 6 months of total expo, of total showcasing of trade. There you can actually have new ideas because different countries will be showcasing theirs as well. So if I told you are an entrepreneur, it is an opportunity for you to understand that there are available markets. Just a quick reminder as well, 9th of October to the 16th of October, we also have the East African Community Tourism Expo in Arusha, Tanzania. Now, what is this one going to be focusing more? It will actually be focusing more on seeing that the tourism sector in East Africa is actually back to pre-pandemic levels, and it is actually going to be more helpful to each one of the Ugandans out there. I mean, we can actually use that as a platform for all of us, from the Dubai Expo down to the East African Community Tourism Expo. I mean, such platforms can be of help to the Ugandans and the economic sector here in Uganda. All right, now we're heading into a short break, but do not touch your dial. Tell you what, coming up next, I have sports business all on Smart Means Business. This is SMB, and I'm Jerome Paul Sanko.